Hello friends and welcome back to the channel for another quick champion guide, and today we're taking a look at yet another tech goddess, the one and only Lady Deathstrike. So no other champion in mcoc really captures that kind of berserker, balls to the wall playstyle quite like she does. She is a ton of fun, very fast in small health pools, but the trade-off is that once she's ramped up you really can't block at all, which does give her a very high skill cap. But if you can master her, you're going to be slicing through opponents in no time. As usual, let's start off with the question that some of you are probably already typing in the comments section below, and that is, does she need Awakened? And for the vast majority of what I think you'll be using her for, I think the answer is a comfortable no. So her dupe does increase her overall damage output in two different ways, but throughout my testing, I've really only felt the difference in really long fights. So I'll talk about the dupe more in a bit here, but for now, let's jump right into some gameplay. Alright, the first thing you want to know about Lady D is this counter that she has in the top left corner here. Now this counter increases by 2 whenever you hit the opponent, and when it reaches 75 you're going to trigger a mode called Ferocity, and this is going to be the first thing you want to focus on in any fight. You'll also notice that we are placing ruptures on our basic attacks, but unlike other champions, the potency of these ruptures are based on your armor rating and not your attack rating. So you're going to be generating armor up passives as you increase your combo, and this is going to make your ruptures do more damage. So right here we've triggered Ferocity. You'll notice that it starts paused. It's only going to unpause if you take a blocked hit. So from here on out your goal is to stay in Ferocity for the rest of the fight. Now if you use the special 2 while Ferocity is active like I just did here, it's going to give you a bit of protection, and from this point on if I were to take a blocked hit, Ferocity will re-pause itself after 3 seconds. So especially when you are just getting started with Lady D and learning how to use her, I really do recommend using that special 2 first after entering Ferocity. It doesn't really slow the fight down that much. You are going to lose a few seconds compared to the other method, which we'll talk about shortly. But having that safety net of Ferocity being able to re-pause itself is really nice to have in any fight where you think you might accidentally take a blocked hit, or where blocking might just be unavoidable. So right here you're going to see me accidentally parry the special 1, Ferocity is going to unpause, and then because I used that special 2, it'll pause itself again. So from here you just want to spam your special 1, and then this is going to inflict a Torment debuff, which is going to make all your Rupture debuffs last longer, allowing you to stack more of them at once, and the fight is likely to be over shortly after that. So that was about 200,000 health in 57 seconds, and in a short fight with that rotation, a single special 1 is usually going to be enough to kill, but once you get comfortable with not blocking, you can instead opt to skip the special 2 entirely and go for the double Torment rotation. So let's look at that same fight again, but me playing it a little differently. So in this version of the fight, I'm going to stick to only using my special 1. And what makes this rotation work is that the Torment debuffs from that special 1 actually stack. Now normally your ruptures last 6 seconds, each Torment debuff adds an extra 6 on top of that, so with the double Torment they're going to end up lasting 18 seconds. Now at the start of the fight here, I'm treating it basically the same as before, just building up those Ferocity charges with my basic attacks. You saw me dump my power there because I don't want to push myself over 2 bars. Once I'm in Ferocity, I want to build up to close to 2 bars of power, and then I'm going to fire off a special 1 here to gain a Torment debuff. You can see that Jane here is over a bar of power, so I'm going to bait out this special from her, and then immediately go back in and fire off a second special 1, which gets me that second Torment. So from here on out, we have 18-second ruptures, and the fight is basically over in the next combo. So this version of the fight was 52 seconds, so you are saving some time there. In a mode like Battlegrounds, that could be the difference between winning and losing, but there is some risk-reward there because it is a lot more dangerous to not have the safety net of that special 2. Okay, so now I want to walk you through a longer fight. This is a Star-Lord from a CCP test map, has about 620,000 health. What we're going to be doing here first is once we get into Ferocity, we're then going to be using her special 3. So Lady D's special 3 grants a passive effect called Relentless that increases your attack rating by another 35% on top of what you already get via Ferocity, but also it gives you the ability to inflict ruptures through your block. So this is going to start pause just like Ferocity does, and again will only unpause if you lose Ferocity. So Similar to the other fights, your entire goal here is to stay in ferocity for the rest of that fight so you can enjoy the nice 85% attack increase on your basic hits. Once we're out of the special 3, you can either go for the special 2 for that safety net or head right into the double torment rotation like I am here and spam your special 1. Now remember, your specials are unblockable while ferocity is active, so if you're fighting a particularly passive AI, you can just do a full 7-hit combo into their block and toss your special 1 to finish, and you'll punch right through. With the Relentless passive applied, those blocked hits will still have applied a bunch of ruptures through their block, and then you will have broken through their block with that special 1. So you can see we are stacking many, many rupture debuffs here. I think we get as high as 35 before the end of the fight, and this is going to be a 620k health opponent gone in under 2 minutes, which is really, really good for any tech champ not named Ghost. So we're just spamming the special 1 here, trying to keep those ruptures up, and down he goes. Full yellow bar finish. That was 1 minute and 40 seconds, I think it is. Let's check the time here. Yep, there we go. 1 minute and 40 seconds. Okay, let's go ahead and review the rotation. So your basic attacks are going to gain you ferocity charges. That's 2 per hit. And then you're going to enter the ferocity mode at 75 charges, so roughly 38 hits. Now, optionally, at this point, you can either use your special 2 to gain that ferocity pause buffer that we talked about, or in a longer fight, you can go right to your special 3 and get to that relentless passive. Now, either way, you want to then build to just under 2 bars of power, special 1 to apply a torment debuff, and then special 1 again for the double torment. In a very short fight, again, that first special 1 likely to end the fight. The key to make all of this work is to stay aggressive, and most importantly, I cannot emphasize this enough, do not block. So let's talk about her signature ability real quick. So the potency of Lady Deathstrike's ruptures are determined by her armor rating, and when she's unduped, you're going to gain a passive armor up every 25 hits. So she'll ramp up her damage in a fight, but slowly, right? So the first part of her dupe here reduces the hits required for an armor up to 15, so a huge difference, and increases their stack limit from 3 to 7. So this more than doubles her damage ceiling on the Rupture debuff potency. And even at Sig 1, you are getting a ton of value here. Now, additional Sig levels are going to increase your Rupture damage by up to 10% per armor up, so again, a pretty nice bump to her damage output. I think she is going to be just fine for both Battlegrounds and Alliance War unduped, and if you have her duped, I don't know that it's worth putting too many Sig Stones into her unless you really want to take her into longer fights. Okay, let's talk about her regen because it's one of the craziest abilities I've ever seen in a champ. When she's hit by a special attack, she's going to automatically heal back 90% of the damage taken. And that means if you're in a fight with some very hard to deck specials and you get clipped by one, you're basically taking no damage. So just to show you how powerful this is, we are going to take every single special attack from this Cyclops right to the face. Now remember that Lady D is immune to armor break during special attacks, that's why you're kind of seeing that immune call out during his special one. Now because when you play Lady D you don't want to block, oftentimes it's going to be a wiser approach to actually just take the special rather than risk losing your ferocity by blocking part of it. Now she's not going to regen red damage or damage over time effects, so you do kind of have to pick and choose where and when you want to use a strategy like that. Now she also has a 25% chance per armor up to go passively unstoppable during a special attack, which means not only can you get clipped, heal back 90% of the damage, you can also counterattack immediately rather than getting knocked down and needing to intercept to get your opening here. So this fight is about over. We took a total of 4 specials, dealing 30,000 damage, and we healed up 25,000 of it and still finished the fight at 93% health. Last thing I want to talk about are her synergies, which I think are nice to have, but none of them are really required to play her. So this one here gives her a crossfight 20% Fury buff for every X-Men tagged champion that she has defeated, and if that champion is a Wolverine, then that Fury buff increases its potency to 60%. Also, these Fury buffs stack, so in a quest or a warpath with multiple X-Men champs on the path, she will keep gaining additional Furies, and her damage is going to skyrocket by the end of that path. Last one I want to talk about is this one here with Anti-Venom. It says that while Relentless and Ferocity are active, striking into the opponent's block with your basic attacks passively grants you 1.1% of your max power. So remember that Relentless is triggered via the special 3, so this synergy is really only going to come into play and be useful in a longer fight when you use that rotation. Also recall that when Relentless is active, hitting into the opponent's block with your basic attacks will also inflict your Rupture debuffs through the block. So there's something to be said here about playing into your opponent's block more frequently with this synergy, because not only are you going to be getting your damage off by inflicting those ruptures through their block, you're also going to be giving yourself power, which is going to enable you to much more easily get to that special 1 rotation, inflict those torment debuffs, and just continuously cycle your specials. That's going to do it for this one, folks. Lady Deathstrike coming soon to a Battlegrounds deck near you. She is sure to be an absolute menace on both attack and defense for the time being. If this guide helped you in any way, please let me know by hitting that like button. And if you've made it this far into the video, leave me a comment below, slice and dice. As always, thank you very much for watching. See you again next time.